No. Is it live now? Yes. Oh, we're live on the internet. Everybody hold their P's and Q's now, because we're live. Don't say anything that would harm you professionally or personally, because we are live. Hello, welcome to the TIFO live stream, where we're here to celebrate the book. This book that you may have heard of before if you listen to our podcast or watch any of our videos, or we've talked about it a lot. It's called How to Watch Football. Yes, you can see it. Look how thick it is. It's delightfully thick, and I'm very, very proud of it. More sincerity later. But we're going to spend the next bit of time talking about the book, and then afterwards, as a sort of trick of the engagement tools, we'll allow you to ask us questions so that there's some reason for you to be here other than for us to flog a book to you. So, let me first introduce long-time TIFO guy. It's Seb. Hi, Seb. How are you?
Doing really well. Yeah.
Can you talk some more so that I've got time to find the stream and see some comments? Just say, are you enjoying some football?
Yeah, I'm enjoying some football. I've been enjoying the book. I love how...
I don't think that's that generic, no.
It smells lovely.
Okay.
And yeah, someone sent me a picture of it in the wild today, which is quite cool. It was in a bookshop in Ireland. It was actually real in a bookshop. People could go and buy it. That's very exciting. Nothing like that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. I can see the chat now.
Okay.
Hello, everyone in the chat. That's nice to see you. Let me rearrange my screen so that I can see it. This is how I begin every Zoom meeting at work, by the way, is I rearrange all my screens and I narrate myself as I'm doing that. And I've done it now, and wasn't that seamless? Also, here, someone is a face that you might not recognize, because this is someone who works behind the scenes here at TIFO, but is the proud lead designer of How to Watch Football. It's Alice Devine. Hello, Alice.
Hello, Joe.
Now, come onto that mic a bit more there, hey?
Hello, Joe.
How's it going?
It's very, like you said, I'm usually behind the camera, so
Yeah.
it's not going very well.
Are you nervous?
No, it's really terrible.
Yeah. Are you proud of the achievement here? Tell people what you did.
Are we going sincere yet?
It's whatever you like. Yeah. Have you got that gear? Give it a try.
I'm proud of what we did. Yes. We've got the team here as well.
We do.
So I'm almost immediately going to push off my achievement onto them, because there was a lot of people involved in the book.
There were numerous people. Give us a yay, team.
Yay!
Maybe you can hear that in the back. And now say nothing else. And continue taking the credit, please.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It was a long year. It was an absolute pleasure, and I hope people enjoy it.
Adam Delgy in the chat saying the mythical Alice Devine. She is real. Yes, there you are.
You ask anybody in the chat how many of them remember the lemonade stand.
Did you draw the lemonade stand thing, did you?
No, that was Craig.
That's a deep cut, isn't it?
Yeah, that's for real TIFO fans.
Yeah, not for the people in this live
That's
stream.
an Easter egg, yeah.
People that have joined moments after it went live with no notice whatsoever. Who are these people that are on the live stream now? What are they doing?
Well, I appreciate.
Where are they from? Anyway, guys, in the chat, drop in some questions. We'll get to those a little bit later. First off, I would like to say, Seb, will you tell me about your favourite chapter of the book, please, as one of the writers?
Oh, that's a really interesting question. I think, hey, you know what? I really like the one in which we deal with the shirt sales myth, which is basically the fallacy that you could sign a really expensive famous player and then, quote unquote, pay for the transfer and shirt sales alone.
Yeah.
And that, as everyone knows, or everyone will know once they've read the book, is nonsense. And I feel like it's a good marker for what a lot of what the book does a lot of the time, which is to kind of to take things within the game which are of interest to people who aren't just football fanatics or obsessives, but correct things that people who do spend their life watching football might also believe. So it's a kind of nice treading the line between casual general interest and football fandom.
Well, I'll tell you what, let me read the back of the book to give viewers a taste of what they may be able to enjoy themselves in their own home. Rule number 1, don't watch the ball. Also, don't read that bit because it doesn't relate to the next bit that's on the back. But imagine I didn't do that. It's live, and I'll start again. Football is the most popular sport in the world, and TIFO is one of the world's most popular football channels.
That's a nice bit, that's really good.
In this short illustrated guide, its creators, that's us, share 52 simple rules for understanding and enjoying the beautiful game both on and off the pitch. How to Watch Football reveals surprising new perspectives on familiar elements of the game. Football, it shows us, that's the book, shows us, is goals and glory, but it's also fans and the coach, the club, and everything from money to data, politics to psychology. This pocket-sized guide, you would have to have quite big.
You had to have a very large pocket for that to be pocket-sized.
A giant,
Yes.
a mythical giant could have this in their pocket.
Joe Devine-sized pocket.
Yeah, maybe it would fit in my pocket.
Yeah.
Will deepen your delight, whether you're a casual fan or I've never read that line before.
Hey, Joe, I've
really
thought of
good,
something
though.
else I really like about the book. Which
What
is
do you
that
like about it, Seb?
If you might want to use the book as a prop while I describe this, but because of the way it's illustrated, and Alice, I'm going to make you blush, it feels like every different chapter has its own sort of mood. It feels like you're kind of moving through the seasons of footballing knowledge as you read it, which is very, very
Yes.
cool. And it's okay. I can like that because it's nothing to do with me. I had nothing to do with the illustration whatsoever. So I'm okay to admire it and praise it. It's fine.
That is true. Now, listen, there was someone else, of course, that contributed to this book here. Someone who left us.
So someone who you sacked.
No, let's not proliferate the myth anymore. Come on. It was his decision. And it scarred. It left a deep scar. It really did. And it left a scar so deep that I created a myth about how it was my decision so I could maintain my ego and wake up in the morning. But now's the time to reveal the truth. I didn't sack him. And if I had done, joking about it weekly would have been really problematic. But he's here with us now. One of the writers of How to Watch Football. Please welcome back to the stage, Senior Alex Stewart. Hi, Alex.
Hello.
Great stuff. Good. It's been months. Good intro to your. What's been going on with you, and why did you leave?
Yeah. Well, I left because you sacked me. No.
Come
No.
now.
Okay.
Come now.
What I am going to say is I've been getting a lot of use out of the Legolas mug. I've been
yes.
enjoying that a
I
lot.
completely forgot. I thought you were Legolas mug.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that was
it's
weird.
It's beautiful.
Good.
Yeah. Just excited about the book, really.
What's your given that you haven't seen the book yet or know what was kept in and what wasn't? Take a random guess at what your favourite chapter is that you contributed, and we'll find out whether it was cut or not.
Yeah. I enjoyed doing the Know Your Influence ones.
They're all
talking
in
about,
there. Tell people what they are.
To be honest, I can't really remember. I suspect that they're towering figures from the world of football, like Cruyff.
Here's one
yeah,
of Jimmy
look.
Hogan.
Oh, Jimmy Hogan. Yeah, okay. So Hogan
Yeah.
was really interesting. Yeah.
Tell us
Like-
about Jimmy Hogan. But don't tell everything so that people need to buy the book to
Tease
find
Jimmy
out.
Hogan.
Yeah,
Tease Jimmy Hogan.
Jimmy Hogan.
I
yeah.
don't think I can tease Jimmy Hogan
Oh, you
for
can.
various reasons. So he was a very influential English coach who went abroad during the 1930s after a limited professional career as a footballer in England and helped revolutionize coaching in Hungary and the Netherlands, and is a big reason why Hungary were very good in the 1950s. And there's a whole story about English coaches that went abroad and did a lot of interesting stuff, but never quite got the recognition that they deserved back here. And Hogan is a good example of that.
That's nice, very neat, and I'm glad that you did that with no notice. That I was going to ask you that question. Is there no index in our book?
No, we decided against it.
Did we veto the index? Really helpful for me in
I
this
think
moment.
the professional advice was that people don't use indexes.
People don't need indexes to be
Yeah.
told what to read. How insulting to the reader to be able to easily locate the thing you're looking for.
What are you looking for?
I was
probably
just
know where
looking
it
for the
is.
other Know Your Influences, if we remember who else we covered
have
in that section.
Marta.
Because it's worth saying that most of the chapters, they relate to kind of rules about helping you learn about football and how to watch it and how to analyse it and all the rest of it. But there's a series of chapters that go through the book that Alex contributed that are these chapters called Know Your Influences, where we pick out a few key influences from the history of football. Of course, there would be, you could write 10, 20 books filled with influences, but we've picked a few. And I remember that Cruyff is in there, for example. I think Marta is in there too. There's a number of them. It's a
George Weah is in
they're
there
designed in a
as
slightly
well.
different way as well, so they're spread through the book very nicely.
They're a Philippe Fenner special.
Oh, they're a Phil Fenner special. Well, Phil, why don't you come and join us now? That seems like a good time. Welcoming to the stage, it's Philippe Fenner. Yeah, there's a bit of a clap there. Now, Phil Fenner, let me tell you, viewers at home, Phil Fenner well, you're the longest TIFO employee, the longest standing employee.
Yeah, I think you want to describe me as a legacy employee.
He's a legacy employee in more ways than one. And but Phil was the first illustrator that we hired here at TIFO. Is central to the look and feel of the videos. Participated in something, a couple of years before TIFO with Alice and I, called The Illustrated Game, which was a fun sort of football blog with illustrations. And Phil and I and Alice have been working together for a very, very long time. And Phil, you illustrated the Know Your Influences chapters. What did you bring to them? And did you enjoy doing it?
Yeah, I loved doing those chapters. It was Alice basically gave me the ideal project, which was essentially just a list of quite diverse, interesting characters, given sort of license to do a slightly kind of rougher, more expressive style. Being the football nerd that I am, I was really excited about all of the names that came up. And then on top of that, there was some kind of nice background bits that Alice got me to do as well. So I used like grounds that I've been to as just sort of makeshift backgrounds. Yeah, it was really thrilling.
And is there, because we said before, I mean, there's enough kind of influences within the world of football to fill hundreds of books. Was there anyone that didn't make it in that you would have liked to have done a chapter on? Any historical heroes of your own? Be they influences or not, I suppose.
Well, I'm a bit of a Brian Clough fan.
Sure.
So, I mean, I don't know, but being by no means a tactician, I don't know how much he sort of brought to the game tactically, but certainly as a kind of character, he's one that kind of sticks in my mind a bit.
Sure, as a personality.
Yeah.
There we go. And Seb, why wasn't Brian Clough in the book? Let's turn to you now, because it seems odd now we're saying this on the live stream that there's no reference to him. It talks almost as though this book is without any value whatsoever.
Well, that's an accusation. Fair enough. What I'd say is that they're all pioneers in their own way, and they all fit into a kind of a bracket. So Clough, you probably look at as someone who, first of all, was attached to Peter Taylor. It's very difficult to detach Taylor from Clough's success.
Yeah.
Also, I suppose Clough the pioneer is probably how he presented himself and how he created his career and how he sustained his sort of level of influence and celebrity through the media. That was very new. And so I suppose if there was to be a Clough chapter, that's probably what we would focus on rather than the tactical side.
Sure.
Because Clough's football was hugely successful, but its premise and one of the reasons why a lot of players enjoyed playing for him was that it was quite simple. And so probably doesn't belong quite in the same category as a sort of a Cruyff, for instance.
Sure. So in summary, you made a mistake and you apologise. That's fine. That's absolutely fine.
I am just trying to retrospectively justify my mistake and explain my way out of it. Yes.
I've got another question for you, and I'll ask it to you as Phil slides back away into the darkness. Thank you, Phil, for your contribution to the podcast. What a charming guy. One of the great guys. Yeah? One of the top guys out there. This question comes all the way in from Cats I Don't Know. Cats I Don't Know asks, Seb, how long from beginning to end did the book take to make? And maybe you can answer on the editorial perspective, and we can throw it over to Alice afterwards to talk about how long it took to design, because God knows that was longer.
Well, very naively, I thought once we'd finished the writing portion of it, that was kind of the backbroken of the project. But actually, and I'm sure Alice will say the same thing, the edit was lengthy. Just because I think, and hopefully people will recognize this when they read it, our original concept was, we altered it a little bit to make sure that everybody felt included in the book and everybody had something they could take, whether it was, as we said right at the beginning, like someone who watches football religiously or someone who's just getting into it now and just wants to dip their toe ahead of the World Cup. And so we altered a lot of the language. And I think this is something we can all relate to. Like when you work in football, in whatever capacity, you get used to the kind of to understanding the language that's very peculiar and particular to the sport itself. So you might talk about a 1-2 or finding space. And then we were in wonderful editorial hands. And as part of that process, came back and said, hey, not everybody knows what this means and not everybody understands that. And just because you know what, I don't know, Pep Guardiola's value is in this chapter contextually doesn't mean that anybody else will. And so actually, when you added it all up, it was like writing the whole thing again in many ways. And it was very interesting, but it was an awful lot of work. And Alice and I, because during that process, we sort of, one of us was working, the other wasn't. It was very strange because Alice would be hard at it and sort of working ridiculously long hours and trying to get everything done. And I'd be sitting there doing nothing to do with the book whatsoever. And then we'd alternate. And it was I don't know quite how long it took, but it felt like many weeks.
Sure. Was there a time before? It's hard to remember.
No, I don't
Just
think
before I
so.
throw it over to Alice, I'd love to ask the viewers if you have any questions for Alex Stewart about where he's been and again why he left. Get them in the chat and I'll get them over to him as soon as possible. You can be sure of it. But Alice, from a design perspective, do you remember a time before you were working on this? Because I don't.
Actually, no. Listening to Seb just then did help bring it back. And I was thinking about I don't actually know in a timeline when this was, I guess last year, when we first put the proposal together and we did the 5 chapters or something.
Yeah.
And you suddenly started to see, this is what it could look like.
I think it was about a year ago, Alice. I think that was about this time last year.
It's also very quick, we should say. It was very quick. I think normally it would take longer.
Yeah.
But because we're so cool.
We have a very a high work ethic.
High work ethic.
We do love working.
We don't respect employment law. No, we do.
No, I will just like to clarify as well. It didn't take the whole year. It's just the way that it works.
Sure.
During the year,
you had the times to shower and sleep, and there was time to replenish sustenance for the body. A little bit of dancing here and there, but it's important to keep the morale up.
Also, handily, we also had time to do all the rest of our jobs at the same time.
Yeah, that is true. Now, I can see from the chat here that MRT8Pi asks Alex, why did you leave? And I'd never thought about that question before, but I guess why did you leave?
I needed to get out from under your shadow, mostly. I needed to spread my wings as an individual.
Yeah. The employment contract isn't there anymore, so you're not required to be funny. You can actually, if you want, you can say what you do now and and I won't interrupt you because I'm not allowed anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did chortle about employment law. For reasons. So I work for Analytics FC now and do stuff more on the club side of things.
There's that kind of succinct answer we miss. We miss on the TFO podcast. Oh, John McKenzie just going on for hours. You cannot stop him.
Contextualize this.
I'm not used to the pace of it anymore. I need to get back into. What were you going to say, Alice?
I was going to ask what's analytics.
Yeah, what is Analytics FC?
It's a recruitment company for football stuff.
There we go.
Very cool.
There we go. Yeah. Well, anyway, more questions will come in for Alex Stewart. But for the time being, should we talk about the lovely cover of the book as our friend Marco slides on into view as he tries to break free of 2 chairs? You can see him approaching now. There he is. It's Marco Bevilacqua. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, all the way, fresh off the train from Aberdeen. Yeah? That one wasn't nepotism.
Edinburgh.
You just happen to be from
Edinburgh.
I live in Edinburgh. You live in Edinburgh. But you are from Aberdeen.
You've never got it
Not
right.
from Aberdeen? You're from Aberdeen?
I'm from Aberdeen.
I'm
from
sure.
Aberdeen.
No, I definitely
I
live
live
in
in
Aberdeen.
Edinburgh.
It's not important to know the details of where people that work for you live.
Aberdeen.
I support
That's the
Aberdeen.
confusion.
Yeah,
The same
there we
as
go.
the JJ.
Well, and also
Yes.
I support what you did on the front cover of this book.
Thanks
because
very much,
it's,
Joe.
it
That's a
really
great
is. It's
segue.
tremendous, isn't it? Now, Alice, will you tell me what you like so much about this and why you think the kind people at Penguin chose for this to be on the front cover?
They did. People that know what they're talking about asked. They went through the whole thing and picked markers.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad they did because it is the cutest thing ever seen. And it's going to be in shops everywhere. So I hope very proud of yourself.
People also, the good thing is you can look at the cover without paying for the book. If you want to go and stand, I mean, to be honest, if you want to stand in How long would you say it would
Yeah.
take you to read?
Well,
You get
the
kicked out
cover-
of the bookshop before you read back cover to cover? Maybe try it. I don't know if you live close to a nice bookshop.
Also, if we're lucky enough to get printed on, Christmas stocking lists, you could cut that out of the magazine, and you'd
Yeah.
have a little picture of the cover.
There you
Yeah.
would, yeah.
Yes.
So what's your inspiration?
My inspiration is so many. But what my main inspiration is, I would say, is just doing what Alice tells me to do.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's my main inspiration.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I think we all live by that.
Yeah. And wanting to keep my job.
I try to
Yeah.
keep up the pretense that I'm nothing like my brother.
Right.
But
right.
that sounded
Okay.
very
It's not
Sorry.
true. Not true, is it?
Yeah.
It really
No.
isn't. Yeah.
No.
I think that's quite good inspiration, isn't it? Trying to keep your job
Yep. Yeah.
on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if many of the people listening in the chat here were also had similar inspirations. So in many ways, you're very very accessible as a character. But
I like
tell
to
us-
think so.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Tell us about this picture specifically. What is it about the illustration on the front? Why do you think they chose it, given that it is your work?
I think it is just an accessible picture, really,
Yeah.
isn't it? As Alice said, it's very cute. And it's about football. So
Yeah,
really,
right.
that sort of, I think, plays to most demographics, really,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
very well.
Cute and football.
It's exactly
Brilliant.
what they
Christmas.
wanted. Yeah. Well, there we go. That's Marco Bevilacqua. Thank you. You can slide on
Thanks.
back into obscurity.
Thanks,
now.
everyone.
There we go.
Just
Delightful.
stay here a bit longer.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, there it goes. Looking well. This is the problem.
Thank you.
give the people behind the camera 1 second of the limelight, and
Can't
all of
get
a
rid of
sudden
them. Can't
you
get
can't
rid
get
of
rid
them.
of them. It's embarrassing, isn't it? It's embarrassing. Let's see if the background my operations man here has sent me any more fun questions. Here's one. My little thought tree asks, who came up with the premise for the book? I think it was a sort of combination, wasn't it, Seb?
No, it was you, Joe. So
No, I think it was a combination of us and the commissioning editors at the publisher.
Well, probably. I mean, I think the way we framed it originally was to have the rules and to give the book its USP by segmenting the chapters in that way, making sure that we were sort of imparting little bits of knowledge or correcting perceptions. And I think that was, yes, if it had been up to me, it would have been sort of 1,500 chapters of self-indulgent. I don't know. So I don't think I was part of that process.
It really would. I mean, if we're
Yeah.
pulling the curtain back a little bit now, this is a more casual affair. It's only live, so it doesn't really matter what
Yeah.
we say, does it? But, if we really are pulling the curtain back, Seb does love to go on, doesn't he?
He does. He
does love
does.
to go on. You should see how we have to edit him down
Yeah.
in the background.
Yeah.
We'll say, Seb, will you send us 800 words on
Hmm.
football? And he sends you 2,500 words on football and something else. And you think, how is this?
I suppose the only quibble I
translation,
have
isn't
with
it?
that is kind of your uncanny representation of your own voice in that, because that's really nothing like the tone of conversation you and I have ever.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's much more impolite, isn't it?
Yeah, it
Here's
is.
a
Well,
question.
I wouldn't say impolite. I would say direct, and I'd use words like to the point,
Yeah.
and occasionally curt.
Sure. He's
But-
doing it now, isn't he? He's going on now. You're kind of making my point for me by continuing to talk for longer than was socially appropriate. Because Bonobo Nobo asks a question here. Does the book go into future tactical innovations? I don't think it does. It doesn't really. We talk about what exists now. And I'm the one person here that might be able to shed a little bit more light on that, again, without really knowing what's made it into the book or having seen a finished copy yet, is Alex Stewart. Because, of course, Alex Stewart is a tactics specialist and will be able to tell you, hopefully, one tactical thing that's in the book.
No, but my dad's seen it because you sent him a copy before you sent me one. So that's good.
I actually haven't sent anyone yet. Well, again, the kind people at the publisher, very prompt with the sending, but not so much me.
I'm guessing if, based on what you said about trying to simplify aspects of it, probably quite a lot of the tactical stuff got cut out because I
think
would have
there's some
been
stuff.
Well,
needlessly complicated.
Let's have a look and see.
Not cut out. We reframed some stuff just because we wanted to make sure that everybody could get a handle on it. In some cases, we merged a couple of chapters.
Tiki-taka.
into bits and pieces. Yeah.
Ooh.
Tiki-taka
Tiki-taka.
isn't passing for the sake of it. Because
Okay.
sometimes people say that about it, which is very handy because it's helped us get a lovely title out of people saying things. Football's always evolving. The story of the number 10 position, something we've talked about a
That
lot
got in, yeah.
during our time here. But the Tiki-taka chapter, very fun. You might be able to see a little bit there. of the tiki taka. But why, Alex? Why isn't it just passing for the sake of it? Because I've never understood.
Because passing for the sake of it is pointless and boring, and it's that they're also trying to move the ball forwards and occupy particular kinds of zones and get rotations and overloads going. You know this, presumably it's in the book, which you will have read many times.
I do.
I'm going to go to my local bookshop tomorrow and look at a copy.
Yeah, don't buy it though, because I will give you one.
Well,
just have to wait for that second class post, eh? It's Let's take some time. Here's a question from Jorge Torres, and perhaps this one can go to Alice, because Alice, you're not a football expert, as it were. Would you say that in answer to Jorge's question, will I learn enough about football to act smugly with my friends? Do you think that's true? Do you think you're?
Yeah, I was actually going to pick my favourite chapter as the one about the back post. Do you remember what the rule is, Seb?
Yeah, so it's about how you no longer need a defender on a post when you're defending corners.
So I've already used that smugly in my football team.
Have you?
When the coach said, we need a defender on the post. And I said,
I
don't know what I'm talking about. I just said no.
That's the perfect definition of smug, isn't it? Because in this instance, it's like you don't even really need to know why. That's the good thing. Just remember the headlines. Don't even read the book. Just look at the headlines and then go around, walk to work or to the park. If you see anyone on the street, just bark one of the rules at them. Everyone needs to know. Anyway, there's more questions to answer here, and one of them comes from LFGM 1995. Is the book available in stores? What a lovely question. It is available in stores as of tomorrow, which is the 17th of November, although we have been sent some pictures of it in stores already. Those sneaky bookshop employees having a bit of fun and getting a jump on the early Christmas sales. It's available in many, many stores. I mean, I think in different... I don't have the list off the top of my head of which countries it is currently available in stores in. I don't know. I don't think it's available in stores in the US on launch day. Sorry about that. But you can get the Kindle version. I think you can pre-order it on Amazon as well. But we'll pop a link in the description of this video afterwards. And I mean, to be honest, if you look at any of our social media handles, there'll be a link tree there which will take you to a destination of your choice. It's available. Someone else asked how much it costs as well. I don't know how much it costs in other countries, but it was currently on sale, I think, at a discounted price of £8 on Amazon in the UK. But I think the RRP is...
I think that was for the Kindle version. Or the
that was for the Kindle version.
Yeah, I think the hardback will cost you £9.99.
So £10.
Yes.
$10.99 on the back here.
It says $10.99 on the back. I mean, it's all different money. What it is all different prices, isn't it? What do numbers even mean?
Just buy it. Just buy it.
Yeah, exactly. Now let me see if there's any more good questions here. Oh, here's one for you, Alex, and of course the answer will be none of them. But Really Quite Tired asks, which Premier League manager do you think most needs to read the book? Now, in your absence, we've had this conversation, not this specific one, but a few times about the quality of coaching in the league now. Would you say it's improved since you've stopped being on the TIFO podcast? Not that there's any correlation between those two things.
Yeah, I'm sure it has done. I mean, John McKenzie's doing an amazing job in my shoes, and JJ obviously is continuing to be brilliant. So I'm guessing if they're listening to that stuff, they'll be doing well. Ralph Hasenhüttl should get a copy because he's now out of work, so he's got time on his hands.
Sure, yeah. And he seemed nice.
I thought so.
Yeah. I'm sure
it's hard to know, isn't it?
Yeah. We don't know him.
Yeah, well, that's what we're saying. That's the major reason.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to cross Ralph Hasenhüttl.
What's happening in my head is I'm thinking, we're live. Yeah. This seems like a... This seems like on a Monday morning when we record the podcast, there's a little tone to some of the conversation. It starts, this could go somewhere where something will get cut out. And again, it's not in relation to Ralph Hasenhüttl. It's just I'm going to say something stupid. I'm going to say something. Moving on. What do you think, Seb, about something else?
Well, I'm not sure that Ralph Hasenhüttl does seem like a nice guy, but he feels like he's got a side to him that you probably wouldn't want to see. So if you disappointed him in a match, then...
That's a lot like Joe, though, isn't it?
It is a little bit like Joe, but
they're both tall.
They are tall.
Hasenhüttl's about 6'4", so Joe is taller.
And Hasenhüttl wears those gloves in winter. They're kind of quasi boxing glove I don't know who makes them, but they look a little
I
bit
haven't seen
incongruous.
Joe wearing gloves.
No, but I mean, if he were to, Joe would wear a pair that looked quite a lot like that, I would have thought.
I think Joe would wear fingerless gloves.
No, you know nothing. You know nothing.
When you've got two windows open on Chrome on a Mac, how do you get to the other one?
Have you got a hot corner?
Have I got a hot corner?
Yeah, you got a hot corner.
What's that? What's that?
Is
Well, I
this
have
still
a hot
live?
corner.
Because this isn't.
Oh yeah, we're live. I just
Yeah.
can't see the comments anymore because all I can see is you, and then I
come
can't.
round?
Yeah, come help me.
I don't even know what a hot corner is.
No.
Nor do I. I've
no.
never heard of that. So I can see I've got two windows there. I should fill time because we're live.
Hey, can we bring up another designer?
I tell you what we're going to do. The only other designer here doesn't wish to appear on camera unless they've changed their mind.
Maybe.
Oh, here he comes! It's Henry.
It's
Cook.
Big Henry Cook.
It's
Big Henry Cook.
Now, Henry Cook, the first question I have for you, and I don't wish to delve too much into your personal life,
Oh, okay.
but what's it like living in the same abode as John Mackenzie? Because
Yeah.
sometimes it seems fun, sometimes it seems like it would be really tricky. And if viewers don't know, John Mackenzie's not here today, but he's one of TIFO's tactical analysts. A great guy, a good flatmate.
I mean, it started off really positive. He wanted to make some changes around the house, fix things that needed doing for about 5 years, and sort of gave us all the misconception that he was a very sort of virtuous young man.
Some grouting, he told me.
He
about.
did, and then the shower broke about a week after
Oh.
that. So it was a botched job.
You're right.
Yeah, in
Has
the
he-
tradition of all the finest builders.
Yeah.
And then after that, he's just got very sort of passive aggressive.
Yeah.
Things just aren't going very well.
No.
So
Okay.
I don't know where the camera is, but if you're looking to move to Tooting Broadway, I'm going to be looking for someone pretty soon.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah.
I can't believe I brought it up.
Yeah, no, it's
let's
tough.
move swiftly on then,
Yeah.
because that sounds like a horrible situation
that's
to be
awful.
in, and on a daily basis, the oppressive nature of that sounds.
It's why I'm in the
sounds
office
really-
right now, actually,
Yeah, of
just to get
course.
away from him.
And it's an
so-
evening here. Yeah. Wow.
Can I stay here tonight?
But the book though,
Yeah.
and that seems like a good advert segue. What of yours made it into the book? Do you know? And what are you proudest to have contributed to it as an illustrator, Henry Cook?
Sure. Well, I can't point to a specific thing because we've got this vast library of images that we create for TIFO. And really my main contribution was adding things to that and knowing that Alice could sort of dip into that as and when she needed it. But really, like, the bulk of the praise does belong to Alice, Phil and Marco, because they created a lot of unique assets, images for the book. And it's one of the key reasons to buy this thing. It's not just about how to watch football. It's about how good this thing
See
looks.
now again, as we talk about pulling the curtain back, you'll see the lovely, the nature here of Henry and many of the other TIFO employees, always trying to eschew credit, aren't they, onto someone else?
Yes.
Almost to the extent where you feel like it's blame that they're throwing elsewhere.
No, I reserve that for John Mackenzie. He's the only person that gets that.
Have you spotted the Easter egg in this book?
I have, you know,
Yeah.
it's really, really sweet. And
Sure.
I mean, I've said this to Seb, but I'd like to do it on the live stream as well. Seb very, very nicely included a reference to my bulldog Watson in the book, and that is, that means a lot. I don't want to well up on camera, but
Well-
that's going to last a lifetime, so that's lovely.
That's
Thank you,
good.
Seb.
Yes, it will. And if people who buy the book can have a fun flick through, see if they can spot the reference to what's in there, isn't that sweet? Okay, well, Henry Cook, thank you very much.
I'm gonna
gonna
drift off.
slide
Thank
on
you very
away
much.
now. A clap there. Oh, a clap in and a clap out. He's the first one.
You
Look at
really
that.
saved us there.
He's
as
the
well
first
with
one.
The technical difficulties.
Hey,
we
Craig,
were
you
having.
got someone in the book, have you? Yeah, do you want to come? No, he doesn't want to come. Craig said he hasn't got much in the book and he doesn't want to come. So that's fine. He'll stay over there. Any other questions do we have? My friend Adam was sending me something. Here's a couple more. How does the book show the weirdly witty chaos that I love about TIFO, asks Ed Stevenson. What do you think, Alice? I mean, from a design perspective, it probably does a bit, doesn't it?
I think it probably does. I don't know either if the camera can see this, but it's one of those books that is extremely colourful from even just looking at the edge,
the
and it looks
spine.
really fun,
Yeah.
and it looks so full. So I suppose we have as we did he say specifically TIFO IRL? Because I'd like to think we're quite
No.
ordered.
Just said TIFO.
TIFO illustrated.
Yeah, that's come from you.
Yeah.
You've added that subconsciously in your mind, presumably as part of a internal
Yeah.
process, a monologue about the dynamics within the office and where people are having more fun, less fun, those sorts of things. It's very interesting that that's come
There you
up
go.
there, isn't
I
it?
think as this book is chaptered and has a certain amount of consistency throughout, We have we've made that chaos.
Yes.
I don't know where I'm going with
We've
this.
harnessed the
We've
chaos.
harnessed
Yeah.
the chaos.
Here's a question from Zona Verdi. What's the best hot drink to drink whilst reading this book? Now, what an interesting question. I'm not a fan of hot drinks myself because I'm a child, a very, very tiny, tiny baby. And so I never evolved the... It's the biggest laugh right there. Well, even imagining me as a baby, yeah. I was a big baby. But I never evolved the sort of the matured taste buds to enjoy such things as tea. So I don't drink it. I just drink carbonated drinks with bright colours and enjoy those. But Seb, you're a hot drinker.
Hot drinkist. I don't know.
What do you think? I mean, how
Consumer
many
of
hot
hot
drinks are there?
beverages.
Is there Bovril? What else is there?
I don't know. It
Soup?
depends which part of the
That'd
book
be
you're
coffee.
reading.
Yeah, how thin's the soup? You know,
Hot chocolate, nice tea.
that's a very
Whole
existential
range of
question. I
teas,
didn't
big
didn't realise it was
subsection
going to
there.
turn
I
out to
think-
be so difficult to answer.
Yeah, it depends which part of the book you're reading. Maybe when you're going through the first few chapters, which deal with kind of the game's past and its history and its and why pitch markings are there and shirt numbers. Maybe a nice coffee as you learn a little bit. But then maybe I don't know a South American mate for some know your influences.
Yeah.
Just do several sittings, change it up. Really get into your hot drinks. Explore the whole hot drink area, Joe.
Yeah.
And this isn't really answering the question. This is direction
I'm
for you.
genuinely impressed with this answer, Seb. That is
Oh,
unbelievable.
Unfortunately, I was reading something. I couldn't listen to what Seb was saying. But
This is why you're a great writer,
it's-
because that was
yeah.
I
I stopped listening at the point where he turned it back to the book, which I thought was a very impressive segue to what kind
The
of
whole
book.
thing.
But thanks, Seb, as usual. Appreciate you. But I was reading in the conversation I'm having with Adam Park, one of the employees here, who says "good question alert," as if to suggest all the other questions were bad. From Mikey Jones, does the book look ahead to the Qatar World Cup? Does it, Seb? Not so directly, but there are chapters that relate to this.
So
yes,
in a variety of ways, we've dealt with some of the themes and issues which will be coming up in Qatar. Some of the geopolitical issues, some of the conditioning issues, some of the more generic, abstract ones, such as the amount of football now and the kind of the tendencies of teams to play in certain ways. So I think if you draw certain elements from different chapters, you won't have a Qatar chapter specifically, because we wanted the book to have a lifespan beyond just this World Cup, because we knew we were releasing it 3 days before it started. But there is there'll be plenty of context for World Cup viewing, I think.
It's time for my moment of sincerity as well, because I want to plug something that we've done here that's been released this week. So far, 3 of 5 episodes in the series The Qatar World Cup Explained have been released on the Tifo football channel. Somehow also illustrated by Alice, found the time this year to do that. All written by James Montague. I think we've talked about this a little bit before on some of the other podcasts, and if people are regular followers of the channel, they may have watched some of the videos already. If you haven't, I would highly encourage you to do so. I consider it, I think, to be maybe the amongst the best work that we've done. We're very, very proud of it, and it deals with the whole Qatar World Cup in an extremely broad sense. It starts 150 years ago. It looks at all of these seemingly unrelated events to try to draw, some kind of conclusion about how and why the World Cup is being hosted in Qatar. I think it's absolutely extraordinary.
It's amazing. It is amazing.
It's amazing,
It's
yeah.
just,
And I can
it's-
say that because I had virtually nothing to do with it.
Me too. Like I'm just admiring other people's work. It's fabulous. It's the thing I'm most proud of, and I've had nothing to do with it whatsoever.
So if we haven't done
I can
enough
say that
promotion...
'cause I don't
go on,
even
Alex,
work-
yeah.
Well, I don't even work for you guys anymore, do I?
That's
but
true.
it is genuinely brilliant. So
Oh,
everyone
thank you.
should watch that.
Yes, thanks, Alex. And if we haven't done enough book plugging already, you will notice on those videos that there is a pinned comment underneath each one, which points you towards James's book. And James has written a number of books over the years, many of which I have greatly enjoyed. I think my favourite is probably the Billionaires Club. But this is When Friday Comes. It's a re-release from something he released a long time ago with an added chapter that relates to Qatar. And James is someone who was in Qatar reporting about football there before they'd even bid for the World Cup. This guy is legit and is absolutely brilliant. So if you after you've bought our book. If you've got money left over and interest to spare, then do check out some of James's work. We would really appreciate that. But I think we've got time for a couple more questions before we wrap up. Here's one from Samuel Ray. Who would Alex say are the dark horses for the World Cup? What do you think, Alex?
I don't think there's any such thing as a dark horse these days. People know about teams. They can do research. I suspect Tifo and The Athletic have done an excellent series of pieces and videos, so you can educate yourselves there.
Let me rephrase it. Who do you think, if they won, you'd go, oh, I knew that could happen, but I'm a bit more surprised than if another one happened?
Uruguay.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good shout. Uruguay always a good shout for a World Cup, aren't they? Yes. Okay, thank you. And there's a question here from My Little Thought Tree. Any plans or vague ideas for future books? Not as of yet. Let's see how many of you buy this one. FPL Nasri, did Uncle Damien contribute, and why are you so obsessed with that pub? That's a very good question. Uncle Damien did not contribute directly to the book, but through through a kind of a familial relationship that we have. He's our uncle. He's helped us through our life reach the stage where we feel able and ready to create a book. And could we have done it without him? Probably.
Absolutely not.
If he was replaced by a different... I mean, there are other uncles. He was the one proximal to us. He lives nearby, and I don't know. He's sometimes we go for dinner. We do most of the talking though when that happens. So it's hard to know, isn't it? Really, how do you evaluate the influence and impact of your family members? Really hard to know. But why are we so obsessed with that pub? Because it's the best pub in London to watch football in.
Great pub to watch football in.
And also because we have, a sort of familial interest in promoting it. But that doesn't mean that everything I say about it isn't true. Both can exist and do. And the final question, will there be an audiobook, and would Joe narrate it? Now, if there was an audiobook, I would narrate it, because I'm pretty good at doing that. Or so people say. It's not for me to say that I'm good at it, but other people say that to me, and it's become a kind of thing. No, there's no audiobook. It's definitely the last question, isn't it? There's no audiobook. Simply because there would be no point in it being an audiobook.
Because it's just a Tifo video.
Of course, it's a reasonable question to ask. Very reasonable. Hello, peaceful Paul, laughing at me. I'll talk to you later. Very reasonable question to ask, because books have audiobooks, don't they now? A very popular thing. Many people here will have listened to an audio. Yes, nodding. We've all listened to audiobooks. But it's very important to look at this book. So I would say you need to look at it to get the best out of it. I would discourage you from having anyone read it to you at home, although there is good information in there. There is good information. So it would still be good. Maybe we should have done an audiobook. Now I'm thinking about it. Now I've worked my way around to maybe it could have been cool. Or
it would have saved a lot of work on my side.
Yeah, if we just did it as an audiobook.
Would have been a lot easier. Would have saved us a lot of time.
We should just do podcasts instead of any videos. Yeah.
The whole team,
the illustrators are here. No.
Oh.
The valuable contribution of all the team members here, who are here at 8 p.m. on a Wednesday. Anyway, the book comes out tomorrow, by the way. We probably should have done this tomorrow, but I have a social affair that I can't miss. So that's why we're doing it the day before. And thanks very much firstly, thanks to Alex Stewart for rejoining us. It's lovely to see you. Hope you enjoy the World Cup, and all the best with your work at Analytics FC.
Thanks, Joe. Lovely to see you all.
Yes. To Seb Stafford-Bloor, who will be joining us in London for the World Cup. We'll see you again on Sunday, where we'll be doing a live stream and making some videos for the rest of the tournament.
Yes, I'm also going to be living with you for about a month, which is going to be fun.
Well, yes. That's true.
A sitcom in the making.
Yes.
Regretting that a little bit now.
No,
just a little bit now.
Looking forward to it. Do you know what I'm most looking forward to is the tube journeys home and to the office together.
Those
after
will
about
not
day
get
4.
Boring. Those will be fresh. If anything,
nothing
we'll
else
find
to
something
say.
new to talk about every single day.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Alice Devine, thanks for sitting with us through the Tifo live stream. You were nervous about it beforehand. Do you feel comfortable now?
It's nice to see Seb and Alex and you. I think I'm still nervous, but it feels more like I'm speaking to humans.
Yeah. Interesting how you receded from the microphone the more you spoke there. So it's good psychology. And yay from the team. Yay! There we go. so long. I'm starting to feel as though they're applauding me. And of course, over in the corner as well, we've got the trusty companions to any live stream and podcast. It's Don, Jamie, and Craig who are working away over there, and will be working away with us throughout the rest of the World Cup too. So thanks for joining us. If you do, if you can afford it and you want to read it, please do buy the book. Hope you enjoy it, and I hope you join us for the World Cup. And lots of love to. All the best. Is it the end now? Oh, we're still, and more things, and then
Yeah.
I think I've got a mutiny over by the stop button. Somebody.